菜根谭
Tending the roots of wisdom.
241冷静观世事，忙中去偷闲。
241. Observe the world with calmness, and steal moments of leisure amidst busyness.
菜根谭原文：从冷施热，然后知热处，知奔驰无益；从冗长入闲，然后觉闲中，知滋味最长。
白话文注解：从热闹的名利声中退出后，再来看明立场，才知道热衷于争名夺利最无益；从忙碌的生活转到安闲的生活，才知道安闲的人生趣味最深长。
241-1. Stepping back from the bustling world of fame and fortune allows one to realize the futility of being overly eager for recognition and material gain. Similarly, transitioning from a busy life to a tranquil one reveals that the true depth and charm of life lie in simplicity and serenity. Translated by Bayandefu.
241-2. From a cool point of view, the futility of heated hustle and bustle is obvious. A moment of leisure taken while busy makes you realize how long-lasting the taste of leisure can be. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 241-3. In moments of calm take time to reflect on the hustle and bustle, and you will realize how futile it was. If you take a moment's respite at a time when you are busy, you will realize how meaningful the taste of leisure is. Translated by Paul White.
241-4. After withdrawing from the bustling world of fame and gain, one realizes the futility of being enthusiastic about competing for fame and fortune. Transitioning from a busy life to a tranquil one reveals that the delights of a serene existence are the deepest and most enduring. Translated by Wen Lin.
242不亲富贵，不溺酒食。
242. Do not be overly attached to wealth and nobility, and do not indulge in excessive food and drink.
菜根谭原文：有浮云富贵之风，而不必言妻学楚；无膏肓全食之癖，而常自醉酒耽诗。
白话文注解：有视富贵如浮云的气度，就无需隐居深山，过隐士生活；没有酷爱清泉岩石的癖好，饮酒赋诗一样能自得其乐。
242-1. Having the magnanimity to treat wealth and status as fleeting clouds, there is no need to seclude oneself in the deep mountains and live the life of a hermit. Without an excessive fondness for clear springs and rocks, one can find equal pleasure in indulging in wine and composing poetry. Translated by Bayandefu.
242-2. You don't have to live in a cave or sit by a precipice to treat wealth and power like passing clouds. You can sip wine and hum poetry without being addicted to streams and mountains. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 242-3. A man with a spirit which regards riches and power as no more than the scudding clouds has no need to sequester himself in remote mountains and pursue the hermit's life. A person who is not enraptured with the scenery of mountains and streams may still enjoy life by drinking wine and reciting poetry from time to time. Translated by Paul White.
242-4. Having an attitude that regards wealth and honor as mere fleeting clouds, there is no need to seclude oneself in deep mountains and lead the life of a hermit. Without an excessive fondness for clear springs and rocks, one can find joy in drinking, composing poetry, and other pursuits. Translated by Wen Lin.
243恬淡适己，身心自在。
243. Be calm and content with oneself, and both body and mind will be at ease.
菜根谭原文：静竹听人，而不嫌尽醉；恬淡适己，而不夸独行。此事是所谓不为法禅，不为空禅，身心两自在者。
白话文注解：别人争名夺利与我无关，我也不必因为别人的醉心名利而去疏远他。恬静淡泊是为了适应自己的个性，因此也不必向别人夸耀世人皆醉我独醒。这就是佛家所说，既不被物欲所蒙蔽，也不被空虚寂寞所困扰，能做到这些，就能使心悠然自得。
243-1. The pursuit of fame and fortune by others is unrelated to me. There's no need for me to distance myself from them, simply because they are enamored with worldly success. Tranquility and detachment are chosen to align with my own nature. So there's no need to boast to others, saying, "While the world is drunk, I remain awake." This aligns with the Buddhist teaching. Not blinded by material desires and untouched by emptiness and loneliness. Achieving this allows the heart to be serene and content. Translated by Bayandefu.
243-2, when you let others crave things and don't mind their intoxication with them, when you are calm and composed and don't boast of your loftiness, then you fulfill the Buddhist dictum. Not being trapped by the Dharma and not being caught by the void leads to liberation of both body and mind. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 243-3. If others want to go chasing after fame and wealth, let them. There is no need to resent the fact that their minds are besotted with such things. If your own mind is calm and self-composed, and is not driven by impulse to seek fame and fortune, there will be no need to boast that you alone are sober-minded. This is what Buddhism teaches about not being confused by superficial phenomena, and not being fettered by predestined relationships, and as a consequence liberating both body and mind. Translated by Paul White.
243-4. Others' pursuit of fame and fortune is irrelevant to me, and I don't need to distance myself from them because of their zeal for it. Maintaining tranquility and simplicity is to adapt to my own personality, so there's no need to boast to others about being awake while the world is intoxicated. This is what the Buddhist philosophy refers to as not being obscured by material desires and not being troubled by emptiness and loneliness. Achieving these things can bring a tranquil and self-satisfied heart. Translated by Wen Lin.
244. 广狭长短，由于心念。
244. The vastness or narrowness, the length or brevity, all stem from the thoughts in the mind.
菜根谭原文：言促由于一念，宽窄细之寸心，故积贤者，一日遥于千古；一广者，斗室宽若两间。
白话文注解：时间长短在于人的主观看法，空间大小在于人的内心感受。因此，对于心境悠闲的人来说，一天胜4000年；对于思想开阔的人，居于斗室宽广如天地。
244-1. The length of time is subjective, based on individual perception, while the size of space is determined by one's inner feelings. Thus, for someone with a relaxed state of mind, a day can feel like 1,000 years. For someone with broad thoughts, even a small room can feel as vast as the universe. Translated by Bayandefu.
244-2, whether time goes quickly or slowly is all in the mind, just as the size of things is in the mind's eye. A single day for the person who knows leisure lasts 10,000 ages, and a tiny room for the broad-minded is really several chambers. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 244-3, whether time is long or short depends on subjective conception. Likewise, whether space is broad or narrow depends on how your mind perceives it. Therefore, to a person whose mind is at leisure the space of a single day can be longer than 1,000 years. To a person of broad mental horizons a tiny hovel can seem as vast as the very universe itself. Translated by Paul White.
244-4. The perception of time's length depends on one's subjective outlook, and the sense of space is determined by one's inner feelings. Therefore, for those with a leisurely state of mind, a day may feel like 1,000 years, and for those with expansive thoughts, a small room can be as vast as the universe. Translated by Wen Lin.
245. 栽花种竹，心静无我。
245. Planting flowers and growing bamboo, cultivating a state of mind without self.
菜根谭原文：损之又损，栽花种竹，尽交还乌有先生。望无可望，焚香煮茗，总不问白衣童子。
白话文注解：物质的欲望要减少到最低限度，每天种些花，栽些竹， 把世间烦恼都交还乌有先生，脑海中了无牵挂，再也没有什么可以忘记的东西，每天都面对着佛坛，烧香提水烹茶，不问送酒的白衣小孩是何许人，只因进入了忘我境界。
245-1. Material desires should be minimized to the bare minimum. Planting flowers and bamboo daily. Entrusting all worldly troubles to the imaginary Mr. Nobody. With a mind free of concerns, there is nothing left to forget. Facing the Buddhist altar each day, lighting incense, fetching water, and brewing tea. One doesn't inquire about the identity of the white-clad child offering wine, simply because they have entered a state of selflessness. Translated by Bayandefu.
245-2. Reduce your desires down to just cultivating flowers and bamboos, AATA, and return everything to Mr. Nothing. Forget everything down to just burning incense and brewing tea, not even needing to send for the white-clad boy. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 245-3. Reduce the number of things you need to do in order to enjoy life until all that is left is raising flowers and planting bamboos. Even these will eventually be returned to nature. Concerning worldly things, forget them and then forget again until there is nothing left to forget. Only burning ceremonial incense and boiling contemplative tea will remain part of an unworldly life. Translated by Paul White.
245-4. The desire for material possessions should be reduced to the minimum. Planting flowers and bamboo every day. Surrendering worldly troubles to the imaginary Mr. Nothing. With a mind free of attachments, there is nothing left to forget. Facing the Buddha altar daily, offering incense, fetching water, and brewing tea. Not caring about the white-clad child offering wine. All because one has entered the state of selflessness. Translated by Wen Lin.
246. 知足则先，善用则生。
246. Contentment leads to transcendence. And wise application leads to prosperity.
菜根谭原文。都来眼前事，知足者先进，不知足者烦进。总出世上因，善用者生机，不善用者杀机。
白话文注解：面对来到眼前的一切事物，知足的人会当作仙境享受，不知足的人会陷入庸俗的困境。事物总是由因缘和合而生，假如能善于运用，就处处充满生机；不善运用，就处处充满危机。
246-1. Faced with everything that comes before them, contented individuals will perceive it as a paradise to enjoy, while those who are not content will find themselves trapped in mundane predicaments. Phenomena arise due to the convergence of causes and conditions. If one is skilled at applying them, every situation can be full of vitality, but if one is not skillful, danger can pervade every situation. Translated by Bayandefu.
246-2. When you find all things before your eyes to be sufficient, you are contented and attain the realm of the immortals, whereas when you are discontented with things you remain in the mundane world. When you know how things come into being, you put them to good use, but if you don't know, you bring destruction upon yourself. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 246-3. A person who is contented with things that come to pass lives like an immortal. A person who is discontented with things that come to pass lives as a Philistine. Those who can properly handle the various relationships in the world survive. Those who fail to do so perish. Translated by Paul White.
246-4. Faced with everything that comes before them, a contented person will enjoy it as if in a fairyland, while a discontented person will fall into a mundane predicament. All things arise from the union of causes and conditions. If one is skillful in their application, every situation can be full of vitality. If not, every situation can be fraught with danger. Translated by Wen Lin.
247. 守正安分，远祸之道。
247. Maintaining righteousness and being content is the path to avoiding distant troubles.
菜根谭原文。趋炎附势之祸，甚惨亦甚速；欺田守义之位， 最淡亦最长。
白话文注解：攀附权贵的人固然能得到一时风光，但是下场凄惨，而且报应的速度很快。安贫乐道栖守自己独立人格的人固然很寂寞，但是平淡中有安逸且长久。
247-1 While those who seek to attach themselves to the powerful may gain temporary glory, their downfall is often swift and accompanied by swift retribution. On the other hand, those who embrace a simple and contented life, preserving their independent character, may indeed experience solitude, yet within that simplicity lies lasting tranquility and comfort. Translated by Bayandefu.
247-2 The disaster of embracing power and influence is as tragic as it is swift. The taste of living simply and protecting leisure is the most natural as it is the longest lasting. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 247-3 Toadying to the powerful brings the swiftest and most tragic disaster. The enjoyment of tranquility and peace when one is indifferent to fame and gain is everlasting. Translated by Paul White.
247-4 Those who cling to the powerful may indeed enjoy a momentary splendor, but their ultimate fate is dismal, and retribution comes swiftly. On the other hand, those who embrace a simple and virtuous path, maintaining their independent character, may experience loneliness, but they find tranquility and enduring satisfaction in their plainness. Translated by Wenlin.
248. 闲云为友，风月为家。
248. Leisurely clouds as companions, the wind and moon as my home.
菜根谭原文：松涧边斜杖独行，立处云生唾打，竹窗下枕书高卧，觉时月清寒沾。
白话文注解：在松树掩映的山涧旁，拄着手杖悠闲漫步，脚下云雾弥漫升腾，吹拂着破旧长袍，在竹林掩映的窗下读书，读累了就枕着书呼呼大睡，醒来时感觉到清冷的月光，亲凉了自己薄薄的毛毡。
248-1 Next to the secluded mountain stream veiled by pine trees, leisurely strolling with a walking stick in hand, clouds and mist swirling underfoot, breezing through the tattered robe, by the window hidden within the bamboo forest, reading books, dozing off with a book as a pillow when tiredness sets in, waking up to the chilly touch of the moonlight that has seeped through the thin woolen blanket. Translated by Bayandefu.
248-2 When I saunter alone with a staff among the pines, the mists penetrate my tattered gown. After sleeping with a book for a pillow by the bamboo window, I awaken to see moonlight on my flimsy blanket. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 248-3 By day, walking alone with a staff through the pine-covered gully, a man pauses, and the mists from the mountain crevices wind round his tattered robe. By night, sleeping beneath a window made of bamboo slats, head pillowed on a book, he wakes, and sees the chilly moonlight on the flimsy blanket. Translated by Paul White.
248-4 Beneath the pine-covered mountain stream, leisurely strolling with a cane in hand, the feet immersed in rising mist, the wind blowing the tattered robe, by the window, concealed by bamboo, reading amidst the serene bamboo grove, drifting into a deep slumber with the book as a pillow when weary, awakening to the cool touch of the moonlight on the thin felt. Translated by Wenlin.